Hey everybody, this is Keith. I've got another mod script to demonstrate today. This script is called Image Editor, and it allows you to take basic images in handouts and to format them so that they have a little more variety and a little more interesting to look at. If you've ever wanted the beginnings of page layout ability in a Roll20 handout, this can send you a good deal on your way. So it's probably easier to show than to tell, so I'm going to type in !image editor into the chat, and that will give me a link to open the image editor handout interface. And here we are looking at the interface for image editor. Let's go ahead and choose a handout we're going to work on. We're going to work on Western Lands Guide, because I've done a lot of work in some other handouts, so I want to start with one that's a little bit fresher. So what you will see, the first thing you'll see is you will see a list of thumbnails on the left. These are all of the images that are already in this handout. To put an image into a handout, basically you need to have the image on the VTT. You press Z to preview it, you right click, and you can copy the image, and then when you're in edit mode you can just paste the image into the handout. But it always pastes in just filling left to right as much as possible. The only thing you can really do is maybe resize it and change whether it's to the left or to the right, but you can't flow text around it or anything like that. So I'm going to point out a couple of things here. We have chosen Western Lands Guide. If I click that at the top, it will open the actual handout that I can see, and you can see there's that first image. We're going to come back to that one because there's a problem with it, but let's start with one that more quickly demonstrates what we can do. So let's click on one of our handouts. Let's click on this one, and I want to see where that is in the Western Lands Guide. So you can see this is a link to the entire handout. This one is a link to that specific spot. And you can see that it's just the plain old boring Roll20 image on top of a bunch of text. I want to have that kind of float off to the right and have the text around it, kind of like we were using page layout software. So there's a couple of ways I can do that. You can see that whatever image is in the image preview, we can click on individual properties. For instance, we could tell this width, we want it to be 80% of the width of the handout. We click on that and it will automatically write that. All right, and you can see that it's a little squished. We changed the width, but we didn't change the height. Roll20 has some information in there. The quickest way to clear up something like that is to press clear, and that clears all of the properties of the image. But let's say that we wanted it to be 50% of the width. So we type in 50%, click submit, and it will automatically format it. We still don't have any of that text wrap. So we could click here and tell it to wrap. We want the image to float to the left, and then text will come to the right. You can see we've got a little bit of margin here. We could keep messing with individual properties, but there are some presets here. So we can choose something simple, like we want it to flow to the right, or we want the image to be floating to the right with the text floating around the left, and this will automatically add in a little bit of margin so that it flows nicely. You can also do things like you can put in a border radius, let's say a border radius of 50 pixels, and that will give you round corners on that. So it gives you a lot more options. You can go through image by image, and anytime you can see an image that you know you want to edit, you can click on the little link there and you can change it. The last thing I want to show you is, let's go back to that first image and let's go to it. This is the wrong image. This is like an elven enclave, but this is kind of a Rome type place. I have a map for it. We saw the image briefly before. We can change the URL, or the image address, that an image points to. So let's go ahead and click on that. And this time when we right click, we're going to copy the image address. We'll click there, and we are going to click the URL, and we're going to paste that into there, and you can see that the image will automatically update to that URL we saw before. So that if somebody were to, let's say, click on the map pin for that, they would see that that has updated as well. So that is the basics of the image editor program. I guess there's one more thing I could show. You can click on a title and you could call this a map of the city. Map of the city. Click submit, and that puts basically some hover text. You can see that it'll show over here on the thumbnails, and also when you hover over the image in the handout, it will show you. So this is good for people who need text readers, or just if you want to add a caption to an image. And that is Image Editor.